But if you take the quotation that you gave from Jameson, that everything in the last analysis is political, and that's a significant quotation for a couple of reasons. One is, it's easy to say that in some sense, everything, if you push hard enough, is going to have some sort of connection to politics or an implication for politics. But what the Jameson quotation is indicating is those for whom everything fundamentally is politics and can and only should be seen through a political lens, or that you're starting from a political stance, and everything you do, how you approach religion, your family life, your education, is on the basis of certain prior political commitments. And that's not unique to postmodernism, but it is unique to some forms of politicized collectivism, as we call it. And what's interesting is that is, depending on how broadly you cast postmodernism, already anti-modernism. Because one way of thinking about modernism is to say that what modernism was trying to do was take politics out of life as much as possible. So, for example, the idea in religion, where many of the first modernist debates were fought, religion and politics were interconnected. And what you were to believe and do religiously was intimately connected with the political order of the time, sometimes to the extent that the political order is seen as getting its sanction from religion, right? So if I'm the king, right, it's the cardinal or the pope who puts the crown on my head, indicating that my political power has a religious sanction, and that the king and working with the church is to decide what doctrine is going to believe, what your practices are going to be. If you are a religious dissenter, you might have fewer political privileges and so on. So from that perspective, thinking of the great modern battle of the separation of church and state, or separation of religion and politics, that's to say that religion should be a private, individual matter of free conscience and free behavior. Right. And so politics gets left out of it. Also, we have a separation of politics from religion. And then the same thing starts to apply in the economic sphere. I'm born into a feudal class, right? And what jobs I'm allowed to perform depends on my politically preset location in a feudal hierarchy, right? And blowing that all up into say, with respect to the economy, people should be free to decide what their careers are going to be, whom they're going to trade with, what they are going to consume, and so forth. So separating as much as possible government from the economy. So the whole idea of limited government. The idea with respect to art, that artists should be free spirits and free agents and come up with their own ideas and be able to sculpt and write and do whatever it is that they want. And also as a consumer, I should be able to consume whatever I want. So we put that in the framework of lessening censorship, but censorship is precisely the idea that government or the state should be able to decide for you what you can do and what you can't with respect to say art. So the whole idea of modernism is to say, basically the state has had its hands or been controlling everything with respect to the individual. And what we're doing is limiting severely the role of the state. So that for the most part, life is not political. Right? Life is about what you as an individual decide to do, your family life and your religious life and your artistic life and so on. And politics is this minor thing that we turn to, when we have some debates or disagreements, then we turn to the political system to help us and so forth. So the postmoderns are rejecting all of that, but partly they are rejecting that because they do, and I think historically the left connections that you are mentioning, they do come out of a very collectivized political system, ideology that doesn't like that individualism that I've just been stressing for the last couple of minutes, that you are a creature of your society, and they see government as the agent of society. So really everything should be politicized deeply